Being a manga reader is a fun hobby to have. There are so many different series out there and a variety of different genres. Of course, your favorite anime most likely has a manga that you can read and enjoy, but there are plenty of series out there that are better than the anime, and some that aren't even animated yet. Plus, there are new manga coming out all the time, and it can be really fun to read a manga right from the beginning. Plus, it can be extra exciting when you hear that one of your favorite mangakas is announcing a new series. So, when I heard that Kei Sasuga was writing a new harem series, I knew that I had to start reading it right from the jump. The series in question is Isho ni Karashite ii desu ka, or May I Live With You in English. The series was first serialized in February of 2023 in Grand Jump Mucha. And if you don't recognize the name, Kei Sasuga is the author of Domestic Girlfriend. This is going to be fun. The manga follows our protagonist Hiromi Sonoda, who is 27 years old. We open with our boy getting kicked out and dumped by his girlfriend, which is coming a week after he lost his job. With no place to stay and no job, Hiromi is on the outs. So he goes to his friend for advice, and his friend informs him of an ad for a share house he saw. Hiromi visits the place, and on arrival, he finds out that it is a share house exclusive to women, so he is turned away. He goes to leave, but he then discovers that he dropped his wallet somewhere, and his phone is dead. With no girlfriend, no job, no money, nowhere to live, and no phone, he has officially hit rock bottom. The landlady of the house takes pity on the sad sack and offers him to stay for one night in the empty room of the house. He is then introduced to the 5 girls that live in the house in quick succession. More on them later. The next morning, a grateful Hiromi makes breakfast for everyone and leaves it in the fridge before he slips out to sleep on the streets. While trying to sleep on a park bench, accepting his role as a bum, a bunch of people start looking at him. Hiromi runs off, scared that he has been cancelled online. Honestly, same. As he runs through the streets, he comes across a missing persons poster with his face on it. The posters were made by the share house girls, and after they manage to find Hiromi, they say that he can stay with them as long as he continues to make meals for them. This is a harem series, so the plot revolves around Hiromi getting to learn about all of the girls, and all of the girls slowly developing feelings for him. But the thing that separates this series from other harems is that all of the characters live together. The living together trope is very common and has been around forever, and this isn't the first time that Sasuke-san has used this. Here's a reminder of the definition of the word domestic. But this isn't the only thing in common between May I Live With You and Domestic Girlfriend. First, we have to talk about the obvious, the look of the characters. Kei Sasuga obviously has a style, and you can see glimpses of the Domestic Girlfriend characters coming through in the characters here. And it isn't just the look of the characters, but the archetypes that they fit into as well. Sasuga loves her male friend characters, and Fumiya had a pretty major role in Domekano early on, and Hayato reminds me of him a lot, being there for Hiromi as he navigates living with the harem. I've already started dipping into the characters a little bit, so how about we officially move into that section? But don't think I'm done talking about Domestic Girlfriend just yet. I'm going to switch things up and spend some time on Hiromi. Normally I gloss over the main boy when it comes to harems, but I wanted to give some special attention to him. Hiromi fits into the mold of a typical romance MC. He is very nice to the girls and is also very timid around them. Because of this, he doesn't make any unnecessary moves that would make him super scummy. More times than once, one of the girls will make a pass at him, and he always dodges it by getting nervous or kindly turning her down. So if he is so basic, why bring him up? Well, for one, he has interesting motivations. We find out in Chapter 1 that Hiromi's goal is to have a family. This cleverly hints at him starting a traditional family with one of the harem members, but it also lends itself to the symbolic definition of family. Him living with the other members of Chlora's house is, by definition, a family, and it is super sweet to see our boy getting what he wants. Kei Sasuga is good at writing male leads. Natsuo from Domestic Girlfriend is anything but your typical romance MC. He has a lot of character, and he is an actual draw for the series. I remember a lot of moments fondly because of Natsuo's actions, and Hiromi is the same way. I am interested in his story other than the story of the girls around him, which is a lot more than I can say about other romances out there. Now let's talk about the waifus of the series, which, hats off to Kei Sasuga, she is a wizard when it comes to female character designs. But there is more to talk about the characters than just their looks. And trust me, there is a lot to say about their looks. We'll start with Yukari Kirishima, who is the oldest of the group at 31. Peak age, some would say. She is a pole dancer, and she loves practicing and stretching at the house, giving us some excellent panels. Kei Sasuga is the queen of the mature woman, and Yukari is the top of them all. That's right, Hina stands. You heard me. And before you come at me with your pitchforks, feast your eyes on this. One of my favorite moments involving Yukari is when she invites Hiromi and Hayato to the club where she works at, and Hiromi passes out after getting some boobs in his face. Oh right, I almost forgot. This series is completely uncensored, and Kei Sasuga does not skimp out on the goods. I like to think that she is still reaping the benefits from the success of Domestic Girlfriend, so she feels like she can do whatever she wants. And what she wants to do is draw tits. And if that's the case, I am 100% here for it. Since this is a harem, the early chapters of the series are meant to introduce us to the girls and show how Hiromi interacts with them. Yukari's development is all about her job as a pole dancer. While Hiromi is bleeding out in the club, a woman causes a scene after being brought in by her boss, who is a regular. The woman is appalled that she was brought here and even upset over the fact that the woman would even work there. But Yukari helps the woman to understand that she likes her job and that it is actually empowering for her to show off her body. Next is Tsubasa Tanazawa, a 27-year-old system engineer. She is also the designated drunk, because if you have an ecchi series with adult characters, one of them has to get drunk and start tripping. But I'm not complaining because, wow! Tsubasa is the hottest anime character I have ever seen, and that is glasses on or off. Normally, I am a firm believer in flat is justice, but damn! Her moment with Hiromi sees her asking him to accompany her to her family home, where she is going to present him as her fiancé so that he can take over her family's company and become the future head of the family, despite him knowing nothing about running a business or the fact that they aren't engaged. This is a classic pretend to be dating scenario, which features some amazing ecchi scenes. Seriously, check these out. Chapter 12. You'll thank me later. But the actual importance of this is for Hiromi to stand up to Tsubasa's family and let them know that she is an independent woman who don't need no man. You might have noticed this already, but May I Live With You is all about Hiromi learning about the struggles of women through the lens of his housemates. This is really unique, especially since the series is being written by a woman. And the best example of this is actually the first moment featuring our next girl. Mio is the youngest at 19. All adults, let's go! Weird this is so rare, but I'll take the W! Mio is an aspiring idol and did not like Hiromi when they first met. She is very opposed to him staying the first night and even puts up tape as a boundary. There's the Quince influence. It wouldn't be me talking about a harem if I didn't compare it to quintessential quintuplets. And don't worry, I'm not stopping anytime soon. The moment in question happens early into Hiromi living with the five. Mio unexpectedly collapses after dinner, causing Hiromi to freak out, but Yukari is unfazed and states that it is just her period. This causes Hiromi to turn into a cactuar from Final Fantasy, which is probably what would happen to me if I also found myself in this situation. Hiromi continues to freak out while Yukari keeps a cool head, and she asks Hiromi to go buy pads, which overwhelms the man even further. There are so many different kinds, and he doesn't know what to do, even though he got simple instructions from Yukari that anything will do as long as they are overnight use. So he calls Yukari when he gets to the convenience store because he doesn't want to screw up, but she is calm and says, just get overnight use, it's fine. But then he gets back and he still isn't sure if he got the right ones, but again, Yukari says, it's fine as long as they are overnight use. This is very funny, but also very real. Since this is an ecchi series with a lot of boobs, we can assume that the audience is primarily male, and they can relate to Hiromi. But we can also teach the male audience the same lessons that Hiromi is learning. The next morning, Hiromi is worried about Mio, and the other four tell our boy all about periods and the specific issues that they have with them. Apparently, everybody is different. This was interesting to read. As a guy who reads manga like this, I don't really talk to women that often. Shocker, I know. But because of that, I didn't know all of this. So this was very fun to learn. And because it was coming from a woman, it is that much more valuable. But this series is a romance, and despite the female cast declaring a ban on dating, the next two girls deliver on that front. Next is Uwe Oe. Look, I'm a fraud. I don't speak Japanese. I don't know how to say this. We'll just call her Anju. Anju is 24 years old, has short hair, and constantly teases the main boy. Not done yet. Stay tuned. Anju at the beginning declares that she is a part-timer. However, there is more to it than that. One day, Anju invites Hiromi on a date, despite that aforementioned no dating rule. The two go out to eat burgers and also go to karaoke. The whole time, Anju is being very flirty, and eventually it escalates to a very steamy kissing scene. And at the end, Anju asks him if he wants to be her daddy. Anju is a professional sugar baby, and her previous daddy walked out on her, so lucky for her, she has a new guy right in front of her. Too bad he's unemployed and more spineless than me when it comes to women, as if that were even possible. Anju has a complicated backstory, and I feel like I've spoiled enough, so you can read it for yourself. But just know that it fits the theme of issues women face in day-to-day life. But, long story short, Anju becomes the first to have a crush on our boy. But she isn't the only one. The final girl is Tanegawa Lily. She is 20 years old and an art student. Lily is the closest thing I can describe as the main girl. She is very shy and quiet, but develops a crush on our boy rather quickly. Okay, now I'm done. The arc she gets with Hiromi is honestly my favorite, and is probably the best part of the series so far. There is a ton that I want to discuss about this part, so I'm going to put a spoiler warning for chapters 7 and 8. So skip to this timestamp if you want to avoid spoilers, and trust me, you're probably going to want to. Lily is the daughter of a Finnish woman. Lily's mom raised her on her own for a bit until her mom got into a car accident while drunk driving. Lily was then brought into her father's custody, but the damage was done, and she was known as Lily Tanegawa, the daughter of a foreign criminal. She wants to become an artist to shed the curse of her family and make a name for herself. Lily tells Hiromi this one night out on their balconies, which are right next to each other. Hiromi says that if there is anything he could do to help Lily, he will. I'm sure that comment won't be important later. Lily is getting some grades in her classes that she isn't proud of. She tries over multiple days to get her grades up, but she is unable to. So, one night she asks Hiromi to visit her room, where she promptly strips naked and offers him 10,000 yen, which at the time of scripting was a cool $63, to have sex with her. Come on, girl. With a body like that, you should value yourself a little more than $63. This is reminiscent to the opening of Domestic Girlfriend, where Rui, in an attempt to be more adult, asks Natsuo to have sex with her immediately after they meet. Lily is doing this because her professor is in a relationship, which her classmates are claiming is the reason to his harsh grading. She thinks if she has sex, she can understand what her professor wants. But, unlike Natsuo and Rui, Hiromi stops things before they can go too far, and tells Lily that she is amazing because she is following her dream. And he brings up that another theme of the series is finding your own happiness, whatever that is for her. This is a very sweet moment between these two and sets up the romance story between them well. I want nothing more than to read about Lily navigating her feelings for Hiromi, and I'm excited to read about Hiromi finding his own happiness like he told Lily to find. The series has some really fun characters, and I love what it has to teach. It's only about a year old, and it's published monthly, so it doesn't have a lot of chapters out right now, but what's there is really solid, and the story is starting to pick up right now, so I think it is definitely worth giving it a read. And I do foresee an anime in its future. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, comment, and with that, sayonara.